So it looks like we've got our program talking to each other. We can get our device to say hello when we want to. Let's just return to the interaction model and we'll see how we can manage to pass through some data. If you remember, when we looked at the intents, we had these slots over here. Now what we want to do is we want to pass some information. We might want to say add 1 and 2, if we're going to have a calculator. So we'll need some utterances, and those utterances might say, I don't know, add number. And as we type that up, we'll notice that we put that in curly brackets. We'll create a slot and we'll call this number. When we create a slot called number, we have to tell it the slot type it's going to be, what sort of device it is. Now, Amazon provide you with a nice big selection of things like European cities, 4-digit numbers, first names, and so on, which are commonly used. We're going to use just the number, and what that will do is when we say a number 2, it will convert it to a digit 2, which we can easily use in our program. We can also decide whether these are required or not, and again, request confirmation, but again, that has to be done by our program. So we might say add number to, we don't want to add it to the same number, so we might say number 2. Again, I've now just added this slot. So we'll just create a new one, number 2, and again we'll have the same slot type. Because we've used number before, it's pinned at the top. So we might say add 3 to 4. There may be some other utterances. You might say, what is number plus number 2? And so on. So now we've got our utterances. These are going to pass information to our program, and we'll see how our program can pick up this number and the number 2 to run our program. Don't forget to save and build the model, and we'll go back to the Visual Studio environment to modify our code. So we're back in our Visual Studio environment, and the way that we access the slots that we've passed through are to use the intent request, intent slots, and then the name of the intent we've got, so number or number 2 here, and then the value or the name. So here I've taken the number, which if you remember would be a digit, taken the value of it, and we're just saving that in our first number. Most probably turn that into an int. So we'll just save that, and we'll stop there before my video timing runs out again.